This is the 2020 American presidential debate.
Senator, I'm not going to answer the question.
Why would you answer that
because
question?
the question is, the question is,
Justice,
the
radical
question,
left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen,
And this is the 2019 Canadian Prime Minister debate.
We know we live in a very challenging time right now, from protectionism to fear-based politics to the transformative technological change people are facing.
Notice a difference? Mind you, it's not just because this is Canadian. Here's the 2019 UK Prime Minister debate.
On January the 31st, if we can get a working majority, and I'm afraid listening to Mr Corbyn, it's absolutely clear that what would happen next year is there would be a period of negotiation about this.
Now, keep in mind, these debates from countries other than the US definitely have their fair share of audience interjection and zingers. But it's safe to say that no one is better than the US at making theater out of politics. Instead of viewers coming to learn about a candidate's platform or what they're going to do for their country, viewers are now watching for one-liners and whatever meme they might be able to make next. Have American politics always been like this, or has it just happened recently? In theory, politics should be really boring. They involve policies, laws, and how our world operates, and that's why debates from these other countries look so different. It's because they're actually talking about, well, politics. And as of the recent 2020 US election debates, it's mudslinging, personal attacks, and one-liners over any type of policy. The debate's purpose should be to inform the country on what that political leader stands for and what that leader plans to do to change the country. But instead, we get stuff like this.
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me.
And of course, the politicians are to blame, but a lot of it has to do with how the debates are set up. Debates generally work like this. The moderator will ask a question, one candidate responds to said question in the given time limit, and the other candidate will then respond as well. In theory, this concept sounds good and seems like it should work, but in practice, this format prioritizes theatrics over policies. The first issue has to do with the questions. The moderator might ask a question that the two candidates completely disagree on. Then there's the time limit. It's 2 minutes, but candidates will often go over that time. Third, there's a crowd involved. Although this year was an exception, most of the time there's a big, roarous crowd in attendance. This gives the politicians positive feedback whenever they say something attacking their opponents or something that's just plain outrageous. It makes them focus on their one-liners rather than the actual ideas. And one of the worst issues on the debate stage that seems like an easy fix would be to simply have a mute button for the person who shouldn't be talking. Now, if you were to take away the crowd, add a mute button, change up the questions, moderation, and also stick to the time limit, well, this might make the debate more tame, but would it be any better? A lot of what makes politics so entertaining, for better and for worse, is the presentation. And arguably one of the networks that does this best is CNN.
The Democrats are in Michigan for a premier two-night event, a defining moment that will determine who gets left behind and who takes on President Trump.
The loud crowd, the epic voice, the splashy graphics, it wouldn't be surprising if the audience was confused if this wasn't for some senior basketball league or they were about to watch a Marvel movie. But nope, it's just American politics. And to make matters worse, they even have pre-shows and post-shows to analyze every aspect of the debate. But it's not just the debates either. Politics as entertainment is happening all the time. CNN has made their entire business off of making politics as entertaining as they possibly can. In recent years, they've been giving their platform to Trump supporters with absolutely no credentials. This is just one example from the 2016 election where Trump had his locker room talk moment.
But here's the thing, he's not running to be the Pope. Look at the culture of our country.
These people with no credentials saying ridiculous things has created a way for CNN to dramatize and stretch out their content. But is all of this a product of Donald Trump or the desire to keep up a 24-hour news cycle? Well, it's sort of neither. The reality is American politics have always been like this, even dating back to 1858 with Abraham Lincoln and Stephen A. Douglas. Their debates are fondly remembered as talks about serious issues such as slavery, but no one talks about all the other stuff that happened. The debates were quite literally a traveling circus with bands and cannons and even the candidates leading parades to the stage. And more recently, we have Ronald Reagan, a former actor, and the Terminator who was the governor of California. So is politics as entertainment harmful? Well, I think there's two sides to it. One, I think something like this obviously takes focus away from the actual issues. Instead of policies, debates become mudslinging, making people less informed. But on the other hand, would anyone listen to American politics if it essentially just wasn't pro wrestling? If Americans actually needed to be quiet and think, how many people would do it? I can't really think of anything less American than that. So maybe politics as entertainment isn't really a bad thing. After all, people need to be able to feel before they can think, and American politics do a pretty good job of that.